Hey Tiff County family, it's me, Christy Stone. I am going to be doing a read aloud for you all, but know that this is going to be for the purpose of embedding this read aloud into a digital platform that you can use in your hybrid classroom or concurrent. There's many different terms that you could use, whether you have students face-to-face or online, or the chances are it could be both. So just know that I probably won't read through the entire book, but I was going to take you through the process. We have a process for our structure for doing an interactive read aloud. It's not just simply choosing a book off the shelf and sitting down to read it. It does take planning and preparation. So know beforehand, I did choose The Energy Bus by John Gordon to read, to embed this into my digital platform. Like I said, this is just for our training purpose for today. But know that I carefully selected and prepared. I pre-read the book. That's important. I thought about my opening, my quick little opening that I was going to do for you all. I used my continuum to look at the different levels, and for the interactive read aloud section, it is divided by grade levels. You know, guided reading is by reading level. This is by grade level, and so just looking at those behaviors, those goals and behaviors that are prevalent with that particular grade level. Now, I do say, typically you would want to choose a book that's a little bit higher than what your readers would read independently. So, but today I thought, with us struggling with some challenges in today's world, the pandemic, I thought let's be positive here. So I chose The Energy Bus, but of course it's a great book that you can use at the beginning of the year to kind of establish your classroom community, whatever that's going to look like. This is all new for us. But it is all about mindset, positive thinking. So that's why I chose The Energy Bus, and just know I will stop and do some modeled think alouds during the video, but just know typically you would have in your classroom setting, you would have lots of turn and talk. That's going to look a little bit different with a digital platform, and I'm going to show you 3 or 4 ways you can present this digitally and still have some interactive conversations go on, but it will be done digitally. Also, I'll just pause and do my think alouds while I'm reading the book, and then at the end, whereas we would have another discussion, I'll post some questions on my digital platform for the kids, for the students to respond to, and they can comment on each other's post. And typically, because I have Think, Pair, Share, I typically have partners. I will probably, in my classroom setting, is go ahead and tell my partners who they're going to partner up with, so they're only commenting on that person. And then, you can switch it up a few weeks or whatever is conducive to what you want to do. So then after we have our discussion, it'll be a digital platform. They're still going to keep a reading log, or you can keep a classroom chart. It could be digitally. You can hang it up in your room, just of the books that we've read, and also we're going to put what genre it is. And then I'm always going to have them do a written response about what we have read in our read aloud. A quick response, nothing lengthy, but we do want to get our children, our students, about what they're reading. So we're going to continue on. Of course, I have a dog and I'm filming this at home, so she's barking a little bit, but that's okay. So today, and I'm going to pretend like boys and girls, I'm going to read to you a book called The Energy Bus for Kids. It's a story about staying positive and overcoming challenges by Ron Gordon, and it's about a little boy named George. And he woke up, you probably heard the saying, woke up on the wrong side of the bed. He just wasn't having a very good morning. Well, he gets ready to go to school, and he gets ready to get on the bus, and he meets the bus driver, and her name is very fitting. You will find out what that is in just a minute. But I want you to read to find out. Remember, good readers ask themselves questions as they're reading, whether you're having someone read to you, or you're reading independently, or if you're in a small group. But ask yourself questions, and that helps you clear up any questions or misconceptions you might have. So good readers ask questions as they read. So The Energy Bus, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you as I read. The Energy Bus for Kids. It is a fiction book. Because it has character, setting, and events in it. There's story elements. So So I'm going to begin right now and see. It was Monday, and Mondays were never good for George. He woke up tired and grumpy as usual. He had watched too much television last night. He got hooked on a video game. He went to bed too late and had another fight with his sister, Georgette. Can any of you all relate to that? His mom was upset because he was late for the bus and still hadn't eaten his breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day, George, she said. George knew she was right, but he was too tired and had to hurry to catch the bus. And I'm thinking right now, look how the illustrations really tell me about George and Georgette's moods. They are not very happy right now. And as you can see, I've just got sticky notes embedded because I've pre-planned. I'm talking to teachers, not students now. As George ran to the bus stop with his heavy backpack, he could see bus number 11 pull it away. Uh-oh, how do you think George feels right now? Look at his facial expression. I love the way the illustrator drew his face. It tells it exactly. He is not very happy. He looks worried. George was so upset. He wanted to cry, but he didn't. He just put his head down and wondered what else could go wrong today. So I'm thinking, what can I already tell about George? Well, he didn't wake up on the right side of the bed. He doesn't seem to have a very good, positive attitude. Kind of reminds me of someone I know. Sometimes maybe I act like that too. I need to reflect and think, how can I do better? Luckily, as the bus driver drove away, she saw George, stopped the bus, and yelled out the window, "I wouldn't leave you. Come on, get on the bus." The bus driver wasn't his usual bus driver. George had never seen her before. She said her name was, now, readers, remember I told you her name was very fitting. Her name was Joy. How appropriate is that? And she had the biggest smile he had ever seen. He told her his name was George and sat down in the first seat. So there's Joy. I told you to be listening for her name. Joy. I'm thinking, why do you think the author chose Joy for her name? Is she going to be joyful, I wonder? "What's got you down and what's with the frown?" Joy asked. "Everything is going wrong," George said. "That's okay, George. You're on my bus now. I call it the energy bus. Sit down and I'm going to teach you some rules that will take you on a positive ride through life." "Are you ready to learn the first rule?" Joy asked. If you are, say yes 3 times. George and all the kids on the bus then shouted, "Yes, yes, yes." There they are, happily on the bus, excited. Even look at George's, I like the way the illustrator, look, facial expression on page 8, and then he's much happier here. So maybe George might have a change of attitude, I wonder. Joy told the kids on the bus the first rule, and I'm thinking, what is the first rule? Rule number 1, create a positive vision. What in the world is that? When you are on this bus going to school, think about having a great day. When you're on the bus going home, picture yourself having a great night. When you think about your future, imagine yourself accomplishing your goals and dreams, said Joy. Accomplishing, that means achieving. You make your goals and your dreams. Wow, I think I like Joy. She seems to have a very good positive attitude. Mindset, it's all about mindset. If you can see it, you can create it. If you have a vision, then you also have the power to make it happen. As George waited for class to begin, he thought about what Joy had said about creating a positive vision. He imagined himself getting an A+ on a spelling test today and hitting a home run in his baseball game on Saturday. So he's actually trying to think about a positive vision. Then he remembered his teacher telling him the importance of writing down your goals and drawing pictures of them. I'm thinking, have I ever written down my pictures or my goals? You know, that's a good thing to do. And then you have something to strive for. So George took out a piece of paper and drew a picture of a spelling test with a big A+ at the top. He also drew a picture of himself hitting a home run. George knew the pictures would help him remember his positive visions, so So he folded his drawings and put them in his pocket. So I'm thinking, what could we infer about George? Maybe he's not always grumpy. He just woke up and was having a bad day. Maybe he is going to be willing to change his attitude. It's all about mindset, I think. That afternoon, as George walked on the bus, Joy gave him a big smile and asked him to sit in the first seat again so they could talk. How was school, she asked. I just love it when people ask, how was school? How was your day? Did you have a better day, Joy asked. It was a little better, answered George. I felt happier, and I'm pretty sure I got at least an A. Maybe not an A+, but an A on my spelling test. But after that, I had to deal with some more challenges. I'm thinking, now, what other challenges could George have faced? What could they have been? Well, I need to keep reading to find out. I tripped in the hallway while walking to class. Oh, been there. I couldn't find my math workbook, and I bet it was Eureka Math. A few of the mean kids were doing their usual mean things. I got hit in the face with a soccer ball and had to go to the nurse. It just wasn't a good day, said George. I've had some days like that. So I'm wondering now, how is George going to overcome these challenges? Is he going to let it get him down? Or is he going to start thinking, have that positive vision? I understand, said Joy. We will all face challenges in life. That's why it's so important to learn the next rule. You know, challenges and adversity creates good character. If you want to know what it is, say it 3 times. Say yes 3 times with me. George and everyone on the bus shouted, yes, yes, yes. Now, as you're thinking, boys and girls, I want you to think, what could rule number 2 be? And we're going to have to wait and find out tomorrow what rule number 2 could be. If you were to create rule number 2, boys and girls, what would rule number 2 be for you? Be thinking about that, and then we're going to write about it. Okay? So that's all for the Energy Bus today. Tomorrow we'll read more about rule number 2. Remember, it's all about creating a positive attitude. Now I'm going back to my teaching mode. So I've read a little bit. You saw how it stopped and paused. Of course, you know the structure of an interactive read aloud. And of course, you want to make sure that you are hitting all parts of the strategic actions, not just within the text, but you want to go about and beyond with analyzing, critiquing, inferring, synthesizing.